You tell me one person you know and take 20 people who know them who don't give you different versions of what they think of that person.
I saw her a couple of years after her father's death in New York at a party in the early evening in the Four Seasons Hotel. She still had her world in London, but she had moved. Her operational base was New York. She was in a relationship with Jeffrey Epstein by this time. It was a very sort of active giver of parties, and Ghislaine could fit into that life of the Upper East Side in a heartbeat. And I think to her that was an achievement. She was making it in New York.
Every time you went to a high-flying showbiz party or a fashion show party, she would be there. It was like she was the party because she was so glamorous, beautifully dressed. She would be hosting whatever party it was, even if she wasn't the hostess, and she would take over. And she was the dominant person in that party room. She knew everybody and she could work a room brilliantly. And it was a very noticeable difference from London, the early days, to New York, where she became Queen of New York.
Being a young model, you get invited to a lot of dinners or events, and a lot of the times the men are older and want to be surrounded by models. It's sort of how it is. I'm Lady Victoria Harvey, and I first met Ghislaine in the mid-90s. Most of the time I'd seen her in London, then in New York, then in LA. For me, having a title, being who I was, you know, that made me valuable. I was like an asset. She seemed to like thrive on introducing people and hosting dinners. One of the dinners I was at, you know, Bill Clinton was there. He was the president of the United States at the time. It was Ghislaine that had invited me to it. It definitely showed her power of being able to pull these people, you know, into something that was very intimate. And it was like, wow, okay, she's good. And I think Jeffrey just sort of stepped back and kind of let her do it. They were like a team. She was more social than him. It's almost like she would bring them in, you know, to the den, and then he would do business with them. And she looked like she enjoyed it.
I think it was a bit of an open secret that he was seeing other women, but she didn't walk away from it. And she wanted to remain in his life. And if he was going to see other people, then she would rather know about it and, in a sense, have some say in it. So I think that was hidden in plain sight. I was told by a very close friend of Ghislaine that she'd been at an event in New York. And then Ghislaine says, well, I've got to go now. See you after the event, because I've got to go and get some girls for Jeffrey. It stuck in my mind afterwards that she thought it was her job. So that it was like it was a duty. And when do you stop and say, hang on, this has gone from just a bit questionable or even seedy to something worse?